In this explainer, we're going to tackle a process that, let's be honest, can be a real headache. Vendor returns in Microsoft Dynamics 365. We're going to turn that complexity into a super clear, strategic framework. And I'll show you how getting returns right isn't just about fixing a mistake. It's a cornerstone of financial integrity and building a really resilient supply chain.
So let's just dive right into a critical business challenge. Picture this. You've received an order, you open it up, and something's wrong. You need to send it back. It's a moment pretty much every business faces, and how you handle it inside your system, well, that can make all the difference.
You know, the reasons for a return can be all over the map, from obviously damaged products and overshipments to just simple administrative errors. And each of these scenarios dictates the specific process you'll need to follow within Dynamics 365 to get it right.
So here's our roadmap for mastering this whole thing. First, we'll really frame the problem and explore the tools you've got. Then, we'll walk through the formal workflow, step by step. The real key, though, is understanding the financial and inventory links. We'll get into that next. And finally, we'll look at some advanced scenarios and wrap it all up with the essential best practices. Let's get started.
Okay, so what are we really trying to solve here? A vendor return isn't just about, sending a box back. It's a complete reverse transaction. We're talking both logistically and financially. And managing it with precision is absolutely critical if you want to avoid some really costly errors.
Now that we get the challenge, let's look at our toolkit. Dynamics 365 gives you two primary methods for processing a return. And your first strategic decision is choosing the right one for the job, because each one is designed for a very specific situation.
Now, this is where it gets really interesting, because the crucial difference here is all about control. The returned order method on the left, that's the gold standard. It forces you to use a vendor-supplied RMA number, which basically acts as a formal agreement and a key tracking reference. On the other hand, adding a negative line to an existing PO is more of a quick correction. It's perfect for refusing a few items right there at the receiving dock before an invoice is even posted. It's simpler for sure, but it totally lacks that formal RMA control.
Okay, now let's walk through the most structured and auditable method, creating a dedicated returned order. This is the process you'll really want to master for any kind of formal return.
This four-step process gives you a complete and totally transparent audit trail. You start with that formal return document. You use the system to perfectly copy the original transaction details. You record the physical outbound shipment, and then you close the loop financially. Every single step is captured right there in the system.
And this is where the system really shines. The credit note action is basically your safeguard against manual error. It doesn't just copy, it intelligently reverses the whole transaction. It flips the quantity to negative, it reverses any of those associated charges, and most importantly, it locks in the exact financial details from the original invoice. This guarantees your credit is going to perfectly offset the original purchase. No guesswork involved.
So we've seen the how, but understanding the why is what really matters here. This isn't just about processing a return. It's a critical control for your entire business. And it all comes down to maintaining perfect data integrity across both your inventory and your financials.
Okay, here's a concept that is absolutely crucial to get: inventory marking. This is not a suggestion. It's a vital step for accurate inventory valuation. Think of it like creating a permanent, unbreakable chain between the item that came in and the exact same item you're now sending back.
So why is this such a big deal? Well, without marking, the system might use a different cost, like the current weighted average, when you return the item. If prices have changed at all, this could lead to some major financial discrepancies on your general ledger. Marking guarantees that the cost going out is the exact same cost that came in, period.
All right, so once the inventory side is locked down with marking, settlement is what makes sure the financial books are perfectly balanced. This is that final step in accounts payable, where you officially tell the system, hey, this credit note fully cancels out that original invoice.
And you absolutely have to do this. Properly settling these transactions cleans up your vendor aging report, so you're not showing an open invoice and an open credit just sitting there forever. But more importantly, it prevents a really costly mistake, accidentally paying for an invoice for goods you've already returned. It's the final lock on a clean and accurate financial record.
Okay, so we've totally mastered the core process. But how does this adapt when things get a little more complex? Let's take a quick look at some advanced scenarios where the same principles apply, but the tools get a bit more specialized for things like warehousing and project management.
So, in a modern warehouse using the WMS module, returns aren't managed from a desk.
No way. They're driven by a guided mobile workflow. The system actually tells the worker exactly where to go and what to pick for the return, and they validate every step by scanning barcodes. This just dramatically minimizes the risk of sending the wrong stuff back.
It gets even smarter. Warehouse staff can assign disposition codes right there on their mobile device. So, for example, if an item is damaged beyond repair, they can just select a code like scrap. This immediately tells the system to issue the credit, but it also tells the finance team to write off the asset value. It automates a whole cross-departmental process in a single scan. It's pretty cool.
Now, for project-based work, the stakes are even higher, right? A return hits a specific project's budget. And that's why it's so critical to link the return back to the original return lot ID, which is the system's unique identifier for that specific item used on the project. This is literally the only way to ensure your project costs are accurately reversed and your profitability reporting stays correct.
All right, so after all of that, how do you make sure you have a flawless return process every single time? Let's distill everything we've talked about down into a few core principles you can put into practice right now.
Following these simple but really powerful best practices ensures your return process isn't just accurate, but it's also super easy to audit. A simple prefix like rev- on your return documents, that can save you hours of searching later. Using consistent dates aligns the inventory and financial impacts cleanly. And always, always, always verify the final transactions. A few moments of verification can prevent some major headaches down the line.
So remember, this goes way beyond just correcting errors. This is about maintaining the integrity of your entire supply chain. A clean return process strengthens your relationships with vendors, it ensures accurate financial reporting, and it gives you trustworthy data so you can make better business decisions. And that leaves us with a final thought. A properly managed return process in Dynamics 365 is a powerful tool. It preserves value that would otherwise be lost to errors or inefficiencies. It turns what could be a problem into a controlled, precise, and value-saving activity. So, the question is, how does your process measure up?